said on behalf of the government of Edo State, he celebrates with all Edo people at home and in the diaspora as they mark Christmas. Governor Obaseki urged the people of the state to accommodate themselves and protect one another despite the second wave of the pandemic. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has approved the deployment of the 5 newly promoted Deputy Inspectors General of Police to departments of the force. The Force Public Relations Officer, Frank Umba, disclosed this in a statement on Friday in Abuja. He said the deployment followed the recent promotion of senior police officers by the Police Service Commission. The newly promoted DIGs and their postings include Usman Baba, Force Criminal Investigations Department, Ibrahim Lamode, Force Intelligence Bureau, and David Folawio, Information, Communication and Technology Department. Others are Joseph Ibunike, Finance and Administration Department, and Dan Mala Mohammed, Training and Development Department. Ambassador Moses Jitobo, a newly promoted Assistant Inspector General of Police, was redeployed from the Border Patrol Section to the Department of Research and Planning. The redeployments were with immediate effect. The Oyo State Police Command has arrested a suspected kidnapper of a lawmaker's sister, Jumoke Babalola. In a statement issued on Friday by the Oyo State Police Public Relations Officer, Fadayi Ulubenga, 35-year-old Babalola was abducted by armed men while returning from her shop. Following the abduction, the police spokesman said the anti-kidnapping squad of the command swung into action. The Director General, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, Dr. Chikwe Ihekwazu, said the mutant strain of the coronavirus in the United Kingdom has not been found in Nigeria. Ihekwazu, who made the disclosure in Abuja during the Presidential Task Force briefing on COVID-19, however, advised Nigerians to stay calm and safe. He, however, noted that viruses by their very nature mutate. The NCDC boss said the center, in collaboration with the Africa Center of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Diseases, did some sequencing in the past, but did not find the UK variant, which he described as deadlier than the original strain. Ihekwazu said NCDC would collaborate with other stakeholders to collect new samples for sequencing in order to determine their variant. The NCDC boss also urged states to reopen their testing centers, saying the NCDC alone could not conduct all COVID-19 tests received from states. According to him, the NCDC Center is working on adopting the use of rapid diagnostic test kits as from next year in order to scale up testing. Still on health issues, the Association of Resident Doctors, ARD, in Taraba State have embarked on an indefinite strike action to press home their demands. ARD President Ahmed Gabriel, who disclosed this to journalists in Taraba on Friday, blamed the decision on the alleged inability of the state government to honor part of the agreement. Dr. Ahmed lamented that medical personnel have been exposed to the COVID-19 pandemic, adding that the total number of resident doctors in the state is not up to 90. According to him, the doctors are not happy with the inadequate personal protective equipment for the fight against coronavirus, non-implementation of the revised hazard allowance, payment of COVID-19 inducement allowance, as well as non-implementation of the 30,000 naira minimum wage. Others were insecurity as they lament the kidnap and killing of their colleagues, non-ensuring of pay parity among doctors and medical internship training. He said based on the WHO standard, the ratio of doctors to patients stands at 1 doctor to 600 patients. But in Nigeria, currently the ratio is 1 doctor to 6,400 patients, while in Taraba State it is 1 doctor to 33,000 patients, and this is grossly inadequate. The Central Bank of Nigeria has revoked the operating licenses of 7 payment service providers and 1 payment switching firm. The affected firms are EasyFuel Limited, Transaction Processing System, Grand Towers Limited, Paymaster Limited, E-Revenue Gateway Limited, Ethereum Network Limited, and Global Shore Limited. Also, the payment switch license of 3Line Card Management Limited was revoked. The CBN, in an official gazette signed by its governor, Godwin Emefiele, a copy of which was posted on its website, said the decision was taken because the 7 firms ceased to carry on in Nigeria the type of business for which their licenses were issued for a continuous period of 6 months. In addition, they were said to have breached the condition for their licensing. They were also said to have failed to comply with the obligations imposed upon them by the Central Bank in accordance with the provisions of Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act, Cap B3, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. Coming up in a moment on our Extra Voices, Reactions Trail 2020 as Nigerians review major events that shaped the year. Stay with us, please.
In the ever-revolving world of news, one story becomes extinct the moment another major story breaks.
Market women don't know whether they be anything.
But with KUFM's Extra Voices, the story never dies. It just takes on a new life.
Market
there's no water in the house. The toilet is not good.
We don't have any fashion in APC.
We bring you new angles and fresh perspectives to every story, no matter how old or remote.
There are a lot of educated people that are involved in politics nowadays.
We go a little beyond the surface to get you those extra details ignored in the rush for the news.
Now bridge, now we take the entire.
Some don't die for inside.
We go beyond the lines to bring extra voices, not just for those making the stories.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
But for those affected by the stories.
I've lost one bag of rice, documents.
So it's a real disaster.
With Extra Voices, we add new flavor to give fresh perspective and taste to an old story. Extra Voices airs every Wednesday and weekends on KUFM's major news bulletins.
The year 2020 means different things to different people. While the year could have passed as one to be remembered, for some, many still consider the year as not having been a good one. In this edition of Extra Voices, our correspondent, Nosahai Wadiai, highlights the good, the bad, and the ugly of 2020, especially in the health sector.
The year 2020 is winding down, but the challenges it brought is still hold in the minds of many. It began with so much prospects, and many citizens across the world were full of aspirations. Soon it bettered its unforeseen challenges, such as COVID-19 and its lockdown, the SARS protest which culminated into unrest, and eventually insecurity sets in.
Come on, no worry.
The prisoners they run. Freedom.
Chairman of Nigerian Medical Association, Edo State Chapter, Dr. Harrison Omohua, said it is a sad year.
Soon after we cruised into the year 2020, when a lot of persons were beginning to think of how to make good their New Year resolutions, and then we were hit by the pandemic, precisely in February 2020, and like a child's play, we found ourselves in a very serious global crisis.
Dr. Emmanuel Ruware, Deputy Lead Rapid Response Team for COVID-19 and other infectious diseases, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, UBTH, shares his experience with Extra Voices.
Did thousands of tests, and we had hundreds of persons return positive. We had to, including up to by 100 of our own healthcare workers here. We had up to 21% mortality rate for those who were admitted, and bulk of those people died within 24 to 48 hours of admission. That means most of them came late. Again, the bulk of them were those age 16 and above, and the few who were age younger all had all severe comorbidity, that they had background illnesses that predisposed them to become prey to severe morbidity and also mortality eventually with COVID-19 pandemic.
Austin Owenaze, a senior nurse at UBTH who volunteered to work in the hospital's isolation center, described the year as a turbulent year.
It has not been too easy for us because it's a new infirmity, a lot of challenges. Before now, this isolation center, we have close to about 26 patients, can take 26 patients at a go. When the thing started, it started gradually, but at the peak, the whole place was filled up, and after a time, the thing started going down again. But of course, we are aware now that there is a second wave of the COVID now.
He said the quick response of UBTH management saved the day.
Management asked people to volunteer. Although then a lot of people were afraid, and that was what prompted me to say, let me volunteer. Because after all, I'm a nurse. You remember that this year is declared by WHO as the year of the nurse.
Worstly, Dr. Omokwa said the country's health sector is ill-equipped.
Came at a point when the Nigerian health sector was ill-equipped, still ill-equipped to handle such a health crisis. The first problem was how to cope what was before us, the COVID-19, and then that threw everyone into serious crisis.
In the political space, the year sprang surprises. The Edo State Deputy Governor, Comrade Philip Shaibu, described the year as a good one.
For me, it was a great year. Thank God Edo people respected them and told them that we, Edo, not in Lagos.
Others share in his opinion.
Year 2020 is a year that marked the beginning of a political watershed in Edo State, where Edo people say no to godfatherism. That's number one. I'm happy for that. Two, it's a year that God has kept me alive. I have bread.
Many other respondents, including Barrister Jefferson Uworien, expressed mixed feelings about the year.
Since I was born, I've been young. I'm over 50, going 60 by the grace of God. I've never seen a year like this. A year where you wash your hand, not to eat, but to wash your hand to stay alive. You block your nose, you do all sorts. A year that has, claimed a lot of lives in their prime. A year that the economy of this world turned upside down.
Things went down so much. Sense of crisis, COVID-19, NSAS, and protests and all that. It was a terrible year.
It was a year when a lot of things slowed down in terms of the challenges of COVID, which meant a lot of economic activities and movements, travels slowed down. And then we also had the experience of NSAS revolt.
But from my own side, by God's grace, God still bless me because my wife is more successful, so I did people.
The likes of Dr. Harrison Omokwa think the year has taught the country lessons.
We need to be prepared for any event, particularly in the way we live our life. Going forward, learning from 2020, God in his infinite mercy has kept us alive. For those who we lost, we pray that the God will give them the rest. And then for those who have been fortunate to be alive, to have witnessed this and we are alive, that we need to change our lifestyle.
Nevertheless, it is different strokes for different folks. For KUFM Extra Voices, Nusa Hai Wadiai.
Finally, on a side note, no fewer than 4 passengers traveling for the Yuletide celebration on Thursday lost their lives in a fatal multiple road crash along the Benin-Epoma-Abuja highway in Edo State. The crash, which occurred near Obage community in Unwode local government area of the state, involved an 18-seater commercial bus, an articulated truck, and a Toyota Sienna car. Other passengers were said to have also sustained varying degrees of injuries in the process. When contacted, the Edo State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Henry Benemesia, confirmed the incident. He attributed the crash to overspeeding and dangerous overtaking on the part of the commercial bus driver. Coming up in a moment in our entertainment news, Nollywood veteran filmmaker Chico Ejiro is dead. Stay with us, please. Welcome back. You're still on to News Done on 92.7 KUFM Benin City. Coming on to entertainment, where popular Duduke singer Simi has gifted the sum of 200,000 naira to a lady who appreciated her husband's gesture of buying a Christmas chicken. One Aribi Salah Blessing had taken to social media on Friday to shower praises on her husband for being the best after coming home with a live chicken. Reacting, Simi announced that an anonymous individual offered to credit the lady in question 200,000 naira as a token of appreciation. Also, Michael Jackson's famous 2,700-acre Southern California ranch has been sold for $22 million to billionaire Ron Burkle. Buckle, who Forbes estimates is worth $1.5 billion, was a friend of Jackson, who helped manage his money in the mid-2000s. Neverland was first put on the market in 2015, available for $100 million, 6 years after Jackson's death. Subsequent attempts to sell the ranch also failed until Buckle was flying over the area and saw it. Neverland has undergone various renovations since Jackson's death, including the removal of its famous amusement park rides. And finally, in entertainment, a Nollywood filmmaker, Chico Ejiro, whose movies such as Silent Night marked the home video boom in the 90s, is dead. News of his death circulated on the microblogging site Twitter, with colleagues mourning the early Christmas Day loss. Sources said he died in the early hours of the day from a seizure. Nicknamed Mr. Prolific, the filmmaker, who hailed from Delta State, is said to have wrapped up his new movie on Christmas Eve. For many years, he held the record of the Nollywood director with the highest number of released movies. The filmmaker is a younger brother of veteran filmmaker Zeb Ejiro. And that's it on entertainment. Over now to sports, where Gabriel Jesus and Kyle Walker of Manchester City test positive for COVID. Stay with us, please. Manchester City striker Gabriel Jesus and defender Kyle Walker have tested positive for COVID-19. The players, along with 2 members of staff, will isolate in accordance with Premier League and government protocol. City will likely be without the duo for Premier League games against Newcastle United on December 26th, Everton 2 days later, and Chelsea on January 3rd. Jesus' obvious replacement, Sergio Aguero, is being eased back after a knee issue and played 16 minutes on Tuesday. Elsewhere, former France national team head coach Raymond Domenech has been appointed the new handler of Nantes that parades Super Eagles winger Moses Simon. Domenech, who led France to second place at the 2006 FIFA World Cup in Germany, takes over with Nantes in 16th place after 17 games. The 68-year-old, who will need special permission to take up the post because he is over 65, replaces Christian Yukov, who was sacked 3 weeks ago. He will be the 15th coach since Valdemar Kita became president of the club in 2007. And with us, that is on sports. And of course, with that sports story, we come to the end of our package this morning. But before we leave, a quick recap of the headlines. Governor Obaseki has told Edo residents to protect one another amid the second wave of the COVID-19. Residents' doctors commence strike in Taraba. The Central Bank of Nigeria has revoked the license of 8 payment service providers. Do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. Do not forget, you can listen to us anywhere in the world by visiting our website at www.kufm.net, or you can download our mobile app on the Google Play Store. We are also live on YouTube at KUFM Nigeria, and you can also listen to us on radiogarden.com. KUFM News Dawn was produced by Lebedum Asagwaram. I am Charles Oporum saying thanks for listening and good morning.
92.7 KUFM News. Concise, precise, balanced, unbiased.
We are live from Benin City to the world. This is 92.7 KUFM News Dawn.